Okay, this is try number 4. Good morning, everyone. Robin Shea here. This is the 27th day of Before the Fork, the 28-day experience. And thank you guys, for being so patient with me last night. I know the message got recorded a little bit late. We had super spotty connection at the lake, so I ended up having to do it in the truck on the way home. As you can see from the video, I was no worse for the wear. Anyway, it was a fantastic day, but you saw me raw and ragged. I was definitely a lake rat yesterday. Good morning, Peggy. Today's message comes from an experience that I had early this morning, and it was one that I really felt was worth sharing. I went over to my mom's house about 7:15 this morning to have a cup of coffee with her. If y'all remember back to the very first video when I was introducing the experience, the 28-day experience, I did it from my mom's front yard after having coffee with her. So this morning, I go over and I go in the house and I realize that she's still asleep and my dad had already been up, but he had already gone to lay back down in his study. So the house was really quiet. And my mom just got back from Louisiana, so she was pretty tired. She was sleeping in a little bit. So I went to make myself a cup of coffee before I went and woke her up. And I went to the coffee pot. And when my dad got up, he gets up super early, like 4:30, 4:45, something crazy. And when he gets up, he goes and makes his coffee, and then he prepares her cup with cream and sugar, puts a fresh pod in the coffee pot and has it sitting there for her so that when she stumbles to the coffee pot in the morning, all she has to do is shut the little lid. And I thought that that was the sweetest gesture. My mom and dad have been married 55 years, and he is not the easiest person in the world, and she's perhaps not the easiest person in the world, but through their 55 years together, I can promise you it's those little moments of taking care of one another that allow you to push through the harder, more difficult times in a marriage. So how does this apply to Before the Fork and the 28-day experience? And this is exactly how it ties back. The seemingly smallest acts of dedication to your new practice, the seemingly smallest details of choosing this over that, of minimizing your exposure to this and upping your exposure to this, to changing brands because you looked at the back of the ingredient bottle and this ketchup has 3 ingredients and this ketchup has 18 ingredients, knowing that the more ingredients any product has, the further away it moves from first generation or clean food. So just making that little distinction in your food there. To waking up 30 minutes earlier and riding your bike or going for a walk for just 30 minutes. Cutting off your dinner at 6:15 or 6:30 rather than a 9 o'clock dinner and going to sleep with a little gnawing on your stomach. If you're a smoker, maybe rather than having 20 cigarettes a day, you cut back and have 15. It's those little deposits, those daily deposits in your life that begin to accumulate, and they begin to just layer and layer and layer on top of each other. And before you know it, you have this huge, just this huge deposit of accumulated goodness. And it's so much easier to look back and say, wow, I didn't have to do that all at once. Bam, it happened overnight. No, you made daily deposits into the spirit of the transformation process. And in doing so, you have accrued dividends just that are outrageously beneficial to yourself. So anyone that has been successful in transforming their lives, whether it's financially, spiritually, nutritionally, physically, relationship, they didn't do it in a quantum way, meaning they didn't move through space and time without really moving through space and time. They didn't have just one moment and boom, their life was shifted. Very, very, very few people will ever experience a quantum makeover. But anyone that you speak with that has been successful in transforming their lives, they've done it through daily deposits into the spirit of the transformation, honoring the transformation. You know, maybe not honoring it for the entire 24 hours of the day, but honoring 4 or 5 or 6 different little decision making opportunities that you chose you, rather than tying to that old habit that is the you want to say goodbye to. You chose the new you. Now, when I was looking at my dad this morning, because of course I got both of them up and we went and sat on the patio and had a cup of coffee. And my dad is like most men, and we laugh because, men have a certain way and a certain manner in doing things. And my mom and I just kind of laugh because dad can be pretty cantankerous and so difficult to love at times because he has his opinions and, whatever, it is what it is. And knowing that he makes daily deposits to my mom's spirit. He goes out of his way multiple times a day to basically just say, I'm not perfect, but my imperfect self loves you. And this is how I'm going to demonstrate that through these little acts of giving, these little considerations, these little things that could go unnoticed. If you don't have a grateful heart, those things could go unnoticed. And over time, that may mean that they come to an end. But I know that my mom appreciates all of the little gestures that my dad does for her. When he leaves the house and he's going down the driveway and I'm sitting with her, she'll go, listen, he's going to toot his horn 3 times. And sure enough, he turns the corner and toot, 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 just to tell her goodbye. And I'm thinking of you. And she giggles and laughs like a teenage girl. And I know that he's in his car leaving the house feeling like a high school teenage boy. And it just makes my heart so happy. But I have been witness to their marriage my entire life. And I've seen what a difference it makes. It doesn't minimize the hard times. There's always going to be struggle. But I know that they deposit into each other's bank account of heart space daily. And you can do the same thing depositing into yourself daily. Never take for granted those small acts when you choose yourself over the old self that you're trying to move away from. And be grateful that your new self stepped forward and said, I want to do this for you. I want to help you make the better decision. I want to help you clear up your thinking and get rid of that stinking thinking. I want to help you embrace love over hostility. Let me share with you all the gifts that can be yours completely, but acknowledge that you are depositing into your own spiritual transformational bank account multiple times a day, and never ever take one of those deposits for granted, but acknowledge them for what they are. They're gifts that your future self is giving you today, empowering you today to make that deposit into yourself. I had another instance this morning that is kind of along the same lines, and I wanted to share it with you. And I was in my yoga practice this morning, and I try every time that I get on the mat to dedicate my yoga practice to someone that I love, someone that may be hurting, someone that I can just shower good intentions and good heart love and heart space to. And this morning I got on my mat and I had someone in mind to dedicate that practice to. And a few minutes into the practice, I realized that my heart space needed my meditation today. I needed to pray for myself. I needed to embrace myself and love myself today on a deeper level than I typically do. And so without any guilt, without any feelings of being pulled emotionally, I switched my gear. I mustered a smile, and I let that smile come from inside. And I just closed my eyes and I said, this is your time. This is about nothing, no one, no time, no space. This is about you. So dedicate this practice to you, Robin. And that's exactly what I did. And it is exactly what my heart needed. So I allowed my future self to bless my present self by reclaiming my own heart space and my own need to be rocked today, so to speak. And it felt wonderful. And now I have more to give to you, to my family, and to all of the needs that are pressing upon my world. So that's my message for you today, this morning. This is the next to last day of the program. I can't believe it. And I'm so honored that so many of you have stuck with it the entire 28 days. So we'll be wrapping up tomorrow. And I can't wait to hear from all of you and how this transformation has what it's meant to you personally, how it's moved into your life and through your life and into your relationships and into your health and fitness and possibly even your finances and just other areas of your life that it has touched. But for today, just please remember that you're making daily deposits. Your future self is blessing your present self every time you choose you. And allow that future self to bless you. And never take for granted the small steps, the incremental steps. Never, ever take for granted the coffee that is ready for you just to shut down the lid because someone loved you enough to take 5 seconds to pour into you what they had to give. So give to yourself. Never forget that you are a priority, whether you feel like you're a priority or not. I know that sometimes life can really squash us down and we feel like we're indebted and enslaved to our surroundings. You're a priority. Dedicate your day to yourself. And then I promise you, you're going to have more to give to everyone and from a more beautiful, more spiritual place inside of you. So thank y'all for letting me share with you this morning. Love with your whole heart today. My cat, if y'all see the table shaking, my cat's up there doing a little jig on the table, so he's making it move. Anyway, love with your whole heart. I'll be back with you later today. And be blessed and also go out and bless someone else. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.